Welcome to the Fit 15 podcast show, where you'll find health and fitness inspiration, motivation, and information shared in 15-minute episodes. Tune in while getting a move on to make leading and enjoying the benefits of a healthy lifestyle almost too easy. It's the Fit 15. And now your host, Catherine Basu.
Welcome to the Fit 15 podcast show. I'm your host, Catherine Basu, and I'm super excited to share today's episode with you because it's packed full of information and inspiration. The inspiration is going to come from my guest and her personal story, but it's also going to include some information on this great organization called Parkrun that you could participate in as soon as tomorrow for free. Basically, it is what it sounds like. There are running events organized in parks, and they are 5 kilometers or 3.1 miles in length. I first became introduced to this organization in Australia. My guest first became introduced to it in England, but they actually have parkrun events happening all over the world. So really excited about this episode. Let me introduce my guest to you. My guest is Andrea Zukowski, and she has gone from being sedentary and overweight for most of her life to being a community running evangelist. She now works on a volunteer basis to introduce other people to the many rewards they can gain through sustained outdoor physical activity, especially with social support. By day, Andrea is a language research scientist at the University of Maryland. But what she really lives for is a weekly Saturday morning 5K event at College Park Parkrun. Andrea, welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you as my guest today.
Thank you.
So maybe to get us started, can you share how you made the transformation from being sedentary and overweight to being a running evangelist?
Well, you know that Talking Heads line, well, how did I get here?
Yep.
It's kind of like that. So I really underwent 2 transformations in the past 5 years. And the first one was just deciding to become fit myself and doing that. And along the way, I discovered, completely to my surprise, at age 49, that I absolutely love running. And then the second transformation was what happened to me as I became a parkrun event organizer. And both of them were equally unlikely transformations.
Sure. No, I love that. Super cool. So I wonder, Andrea, if you could break that down for us a little bit more. How did you tackle that first transformation, the fitness journey, and going from being sedentary to actually enjoying running? Because not everyone enjoys running. I can speak from experience being a personal trainer who does love running and feels like it's had a huge positive impact on my own life. But I'll have a lot of clients come to me, and knowing how I feel about it, they'll say, okay, well, I'll work with you, but I'm not going to become a runner ever. And I think often it's because people didn't give themselves enough time to try it the first time, because I do have a lot of clients who change their minds. But could you speak to that point and just how that transformation happened?
Sure. So there I was almost 48 years old, and I was 235 pounds. I had been sedentary all my life, and wanted to do something about it. I thought it's now or never. And the way I approached it was, I knew that my best friend in accomplishing this goal of getting fit would be consistency. So I thought, okay, how do I up my odds of being consistent? Just, you can have a bad day and, I ate too much today, but like if you have a track record behind you of, well, but I exercise every day, eventually, the exercise is going to erase any of the bad days you have with eating or whatever. So my goal going into it was how can I be consistent? And so I figured 2 factors were important. Number one, it had to be something that I found fun. Because as we all know, when you get started doing any fitness or weight loss program, that bathroom scale moves really, really slowly. And so if the activity itself is not inherently rewarding, you're going to get frustrated really early on and give up. So I wanted it to be something that I found enjoyable. And for me, I started out with walking, but it can be really, there is no one size fits all. It really is, you have to know yourself and choose something that is enjoyable to you. And then the second factor I figured, in order to be my ally in consistency, is it has to fit into your life. So it has to be something that's as easy as falling out of bed or as easy as falling off a log. So for me, it was, it happened that around that time, my daughter started at a private school where I would put her on a bus at 7:00 in the morning, and I was wide awake because I had been up for hours preparing for her. And so I had this window of opportunity between, seeing her off to the bus and going to work. And so that there was this chunk of morning that I had never had before, and suddenly I had that. But again, whatever works into your life, you have just have to make it easy to get. It can't be something that's 10 miles down the road.
Yeah.
It's gotta be right there.
Yeah.
And I started carrying weights, so that on the downhills I would have something to do with my arms. So I just started going out every morning at 7:00 and walking, and I did nothing but that, walking, for about 1.25 years. And I was the kind of person who, I'm an introvert, and I can do things on my own, happily, just be inside my own head. And I quickly, like within a week, I would say, I became addicted to just being outdoors every morning, and whatever the weather, and saying hello to the neighbors and getting my little exercise fix. I liked the way I felt afterwards, and I liked just being outdoors. And to this day, morning time, what my activities have changed, but like that enjoyment of being outdoors in the morning has not changed. So I walked for a 1.25 years or so, and then there was a 5K event that happened literally in my backyard, in my neighborhood. And it's an annual event. It's been going on for 10 years. And I decided, after walking it many years in a row, I was going to try and run it, because I had lost like 30 pounds.
Hi friends, it's Catherine, and if you are joining us and only have time for that 15-minute out and back walk, that is your halfway point reminder. You want to turn around now. All right, back to Andrea.
And I was in better shape than I'd ever been. And I thought, well, what the heck? I'll just do one of these Couch to 5K programs. Everybody does those. They're totally doable. And I'll do that, and I'll finally run my 5K. So I did that. And then, much to my surprise, I discovered I really, really like running. So I would say to anybody else, you never know what you're gonna. You can discover things at age 49 that you love, that you had no idea you would love.
Yep. No, it's true.
So that's kind of what made me want to start a Parkrun event. Because I wanted to give other people the opportunity to discover, oh, I actually like being fit outdoors, and I actually like, running. So that was my first transformation.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And what can you tell us a bit more about Parkrun for people who haven't had the chance to experience it yet?
Parkrun. So it's a 5K that happens every single week. That's free, and happens in 1,000 locations in the world, in a park at 9 a.m. on a Saturday. When you say to people it's a 5K in the United States, they have this picture in their mind of a typical United States 5K, and Parkrun is a little bit different from that, so it's helpful to differentiate them. So in my experience, the typical 5K in the US is it's a once-a-year fundraiser, usually for some good cause, and there are thousands of really good causes out there, and everybody trains for it. A lot of times people who do these fun runs or fundraising 5Ks are people who aren't typical runners, and they'll do a Couch to 5K, and they'll train for it, and then there's one big day where you have your event. It's like a PR splash in the newspaper about that charity, and you get your race swag, your t-shirt and your medal, and it's all good. It's wonderful, makes great Facebook posts.
Yeah.
But that's a totally different package from what Parkrun is. So Parkrun is also a 5K, but it's not intended to be it's not a fundraiser.
Mm-hmm.
It's free. It's weekly. It's timed. It's in a park. It's all volunteer led. Happens every Saturday of the year, and it's like a 5K stripped down to its bare essentials. And the goal of it is really to get people outdoors in a park on Saturday morning doing physical exercise while having fun. And like every piece of that like definition is important. So when we say to get people outdoors in a park, like we really mean all people. So like Parkrun explicitly tries to remove all barriers to participation in outdoor activities. So, there's a lot of, I don't run, I can't run, I'm not really a runner, I can't afford it, it's too far away, I'm, I have a sore ankle, I just had surgery, whatever. So Parkrun tries to remove all those barriers to participation. The fact that it happens every Saturday morning, that's a huge part of it, because it's kind of it's funny to say this. Parkrun, in some ways, it's a physical activity program, but at another level, it is really a way of building community. So I have learned by being the creator of a parkrun myself that there's only one recipe for building community, and it's a really simple one. You just bring a group of people together on a regular basis for a common purpose. And when you do that, you couldn't stop community from forming if you tried. And that weekly aspect of it is not only great for the consistency, the sustained outdoor activity, but it's also great for building the social community within which you're going to create, people's enjoyment of the activity.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And I was able to experience, we don't have a park run near me yet. Maybe I need to get on that and try to be part of that mission. But I was able to experience one with my sister when I was visiting her and her family in Australia, and we had a great experience. And I became a pram runner, running with my niece in a stroller, and she woke up the next day and wanted to play running again. And it speaks to everyone being able to be a part of that. So
yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, that's something I should emphasize too, is that it's this global phenomenon. It actually started in 2004 with one guy in a park in London who had 13 friends. He was injured. He had just broken up with a girlfriend or something. He was going through a bad phase in his life, and he's like, I'm injured and I can't run, but I want to hang with my buddies who are runners. So let me just get together with them, and I'll put on a little event for them, and then we'll go for coffee afterwards. So right from the beginning and all the way throughout, Parkrun has been intended to be social as well as physical activity, and that having fun part of it is really a huge part of it. Like your niece said, playing running, that's what it's really what it is. I've had people tell me that come to my Parkrun, I call it my Parkrun just because I feel a sense of ownership, because it wouldn't exist if it weren't for me like wanting it so badly. But I've had people say to me, I don't know what it is about Parkrun. It's like magic. When I go to another 5K, a race, I always get butterflies in my stomach before I run. And when I come to Parkrun, that never happens, even though I'm running just as fast. And, my response to that is, well, what the difference is? It's because you're running among friends. So even if there is, maybe you're feeling competitive against yourself, but you're not feeling competitive against others. You're not feeling like people are going to judge you. you feel like you're among friends and family.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I mean, that's one of the reasons why I love fitness is I feel like, we have to, we think about it for our physical health, but it really is an easy thing that you could be part of and start working on other aspects of your overall health, right? So like your social health and your mental health by being part of a community that's involved in a physical fitness event. So that's awesome that people have been experiencing that at your park run. For sure.
Absolutely. I mean, so I'll share a little personal thing about myself.
Yeah.
Last year, I was diagnosed with kidney cancer
Mm-hmm.
out of the blue,
Mm-hmm.
and had surgery 4 weeks later, and they removed my kidney, and everything was good. And 8 days after my surgery, I was back at Parkrun and walking the route. And
Mm-hmm.
I had, you would not believe how much social support I had.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because I had been in part of this parkrun community for over a year, and it's yes, I have that myself as not. I don't have that support just because I'm the one who organized it. Everyone in that community is going to have that same support.
Yeah, no, for sure. And we didn't mention this in your bio, but you actually received the University of Maryland's Community Champion Award as part of all this. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Oh yeah, well that's just laughable because here I am. I'm an introvert, right?
Yep,
And
yep.
so this speaks to how parkrun has changed me. I wouldn't say that parkrun has done anything for my fitness activity because, like I say, I was a lone exerciser before I started, and I did all of my weight loss, before I even started parkrun. But
Sure.
but parkrun has totally changed me. So you know, so here's how why did I start College Park Parkrun to begin with?
Mhm.
I became a runner in the U.S. not knowing a thing about parkrun. My husband is British. We would go to England every summer for 2 weeks. And we got introduced to doing parkrun in the UK because there's over 400 parkruns in the UK. You can't move on a Saturday morning without tripping over someone on their way to park run, usually
Right.
wearing one of the apricot shirts that say park run that you can recognize all over the world. So every Saturday that we were in England, I would do a park run, and then we would come home to College Park, and I would say, we need a park run in College Park. And then I'd go on the website and say, how do you start a new park run? And it would say things like, there were a list of 10 impossible things for me.
Sure.
things that were completely impossible for me. Like I have to, you know, get the permission of the Parks Authority, and I have to somehow do fundraising and earn several $1,000s by talking to people in the community and making connections, and I had to pull together a team of volunteers of like 10 people who could like help get this thing started, get it off the ground until there were enough runners in the group that the volunteers could start to be pulled from the running community.
Mhm.
And all of these things just seemed utterly impossible to me. And then a couple years ago, I read an article in the Washington Post that a park run was starting along the C&O Canal at Fletcher's Cove Boathouse. And so we went along to their official launch, which was
Mhm.
in January of 2016. We met their team. We met a few people from the UK who had come over for the launch. And I immediately thought, okay, that's it. They have just done this thing that I thought was impossible.
Yeah.
They can help me. They can coach me along. So the very next week, we started informally running the route that in fact became College Park Park Run. And then I started to do all those things like talk to people and talk to civic associations and talk to the mayor and talk to the University of Maryland Recreation Center and started to get better at all those things that I was horrible at. And yeah, and then once I sort of became the face of my own park run, and so now this like this weird extroverted version of myself comes out at Parkrun. And I literally, like, I put on a Parkrun hat when I go there. And so now I actually have an actual hat that I wear. I call it my Parkrun hat. But even without it, I am a different person in that context, because it has just made me see the benefit of community for making exercise non-intimidating. So that's what it's become. It's a non-intimidating entree into a community of physically active people who are very friendly and welcoming.
Oh, I love that. It's such a great story, and so glad to have you share it with us. And also in your bio, so one thing that you notice that you're a Parkrun USA ambassador, so you're able to help people that want to do what felt impossible to you previously, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So just this past weekend, I had my first ambassador trip.
Cool.
So this past Saturday, the 23rd Parkrun location in the United States had its launch in Tennessee, the first one in Tennessee, in Sewanee, Tennessee, which is where the University of the South is. A very tiny community of like 2,000 people. And the event director there is a woman who I shared a lot in common with personally. She was also very introverted and not ready to stand up and talk in front of a group of people. She thought she would just turn red. And also they had the connection with a university. So we have had to figure out how to engage different factions within the university, both in terms of like fundraising and in terms of getting them to come out and participate. So I had my first ambassadorial trip, and it was great. We had like a total of 8 people at the park run on Saturday.
Yep.
It's called Mountain Goat Trail Park Run, and I think they're going to be fabulous.
Oh yeah, no, that sounds fun, just the name of it. So
Exactly.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Andrea, I really appreciate you sharing your personal journey and more about Parkrun with us. What's the best way if someone is looking to start their Parkrun, possibly, like, should we try to get them in touch with you, or best places to find more about Parkrun that you could share with us?
Now, do you mean to get people to participate, or people who might be interested in starting a park run of their own?
I guess both. I mean, I want to see more park runs out there.
Me too, and there are more coming. Okay, so participating in Parkrun is the easiest thing in the world. You just go to parkrun.us, and you can register there. For free, you get a personal athlete barcode, and that barcode is your admission ticket into any parkrun in the world. So the same one that you use in the US can be used in Australia, South Africa, Ireland, Poland, the UK. Parkrun is in about 20 different countries now.
Awesome. That's super exciting.
Yeah. And also on that parkrun.us page, you can look at a map under events, and it'll show you where they're all located. And we're in a great position in DC. We're kind of like a hub of parkruns. So right within like maybe like a 12-mile radius in DC, there are 5 parkruns, and then another one just outside that bubble in Baltimore. So
very cool.
Yeah, so that's and then just register, bring your your barcode along to any park run at 9 o'clock on a Saturday, and that's all you need.
Love it.
If you wanted to start your own, the place to start would be to email the Parkrun USA manager, and that would be Daryl Staniford.
Okay.
I can probably give you that contact
Yeah.
information.
Can throw it in our show notes.
Link. Yeah. And then he'll work with you on the initial stages and then assign you to an ambassador.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. Thanks again, Andrea. I really appreciate you being on the show and sharing all that info with us. And I can't wait to see where the next park runs, sprout up. And maybe it'll be because we got to chat today. So
that would be really cool. It's a really exciting time in Parkrun USA. In the last 3 years, participation in the U.S. has been doubling every year.
Oh, wow.
So you can see doubling starts out kind of small, but it very quickly gets very, very big. So yeah, we see big things ahead for Parkrun USA.
Awesome. Well, I'll let you go and get back to getting ready for the next park run and keeping your running going. But thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for listening to the Fit 15. For show notes and more, visit fitarmadillo.com/podcast. See you next time.
Hi friends, it's Catherine. I hope you enjoy today's episode and being inspired by Andrea's story and also getting excited about Parkrun. And if you want to start one near me in Hermosa Beach, I would be super excited to help out in any way I can. Wanted to just touch base here as we head into the weekend and remind you that yesterday was Fit Armadillo's 5th anniversary. So my fitness company, who is the sponsor of the Fit 15, turned 5 years old yesterday, and we've been celebrating with some small group fitness classes. On Wednesday, we had Brianna's core workout, and today at 11 a.m. Pacific time and 2 p.m. Eastern, and lots of other times depending where you are in the world. You can check out the time zone for you and the time that will be by going to the website. We'll be having a yoga for runners class. So there are limited spots available, but the first 5 participants get to enjoy this session from the comfort of their homes over live two-way video chat for just $5 in celebration of the 5-year anniversary. And we do want to continue celebrating with you into next week, possibly beyond. So if you aren't able to attend today, or you have other classes you'd like to see or other workouts you would like to try, head on over to the show notes or just our main webpage. There'll be a pop-up about our birthday party, and make sure to go to the bottom of that page and let us know about what you'd like to see. I hope to get to see you in class. I will not be teaching, but I will be a student because I am a runner who needs yoga in her life. This is definitely a beginner's yoga class, so whatever level you are, feel free to come and join us. Just 30 minutes, but you will definitely feel a lot better, more relaxed, more flexible after joining us. I hope to see you there. And if you subscribe to the podcast, I will chat with you again next week. We are going to take Monday off, but we will have a new episode for you on Tuesday. Can't wait to chat with you then. Bye.